Hi everyone, and welcome to our Blackboard tutorial videos. In this tutorial video, we're going to be talking about how to organize your content in Blackboard, which is basically one of the first things that you're probably going to want to do when you first start out making your courses for the year. So we're going to talk about organizing your content into content folders, and as well as organizing some of the left-hand side menu links that you see here. And finally, we're going to end this video with a brief introduction on how to upload files to Blackboard. So I'm in a Blackboard course. This is an empty Blackboard course, so this is exactly what it will look like when you first get your Blackboard course and you first go into it before your students can launch the course and get into it. This is what the basic course template looks like. On this home page here, we have a number of different widgets, which are really helpful to your students, but you probably just will ignore them for the most part. For the most part, you'll be doing most of your work in this side menu and the items that are on it. So the first area that we want to talk about is course content. And that's an area that we've created for you to start putting up your course content. And most of these items here are a lot like folders on your Windows file system. So you can create as many folders as you want, and you can organize your content however you think will work best for you in your particular course. Some people like to have a folder along the side menu for our tests and assignments. Some of them like to do a modular approach where they make a folder along the side here for each individual module. It's entirely up to you. The only thing I would encourage you to do when you're first starting out with these is to have some kind of structure before the students get to the course, rather than doing it sort of ad hoc week by week, making little changes here and there. And that's really something that the students have echoed quite clearly in their user satisfaction surveys, is that some courses that are added to without any sort of thought to organization are hard to navigate. It's hard to find the assignments. They don't know where to submit their work, and as a result get sort of lost. You have to remember that Blackboard is, for all intents and purposes, basically just a web page. So you want to put some real thought into organizing your course the way you want it to. So on that note, I'm going to show you quickly how to make folders along this side menu here. So for me, personally, I like to have an area where my students will submit assignments. So we'll call it assignments. And to do this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this little plus button, and I'm just going to click on Content Area. Content Area is basically Blackboard jargon for a folder. And you can see that once I did that, there's my little assignments area there. Now there are two icons right next to the words assignments that kind of catch people a little off guard. This first one, this box, this little empty box here, that indicates that there is no items in the folder. You can see the same thing is true of course content, which is where we're in now. There's nothing in this folder. So it's basically just telling you that there's nothing in it yet. The second icon that we want to talk about, though, is this little box with the line through it, and that means that it's hidden from the students. If I want to unhide any of these from the students, like assignments is now or discussions is now, I'm going to just hover over it and I'm going to click this little down arrow here, and I'm going to click Show Link. As soon as I do that, the little box will just go away, and now the students can see that link. If I don't want this to be at the end of my sidebar here, what I can do is just hover over it and drag it up to wherever I want. So this allows you to create a really good organizational structure for your course. So I've got my assignments area, but I also want an area for tests. I'm going to plan on doing a lot of tests online this semester. So what I'm going to do is, again, just click this plus button and click on Content Area, and I'm going to call this one Tests. Okay, and submit. And there we go. I've got a new empty content area that's hidden from the students. I'm going to go ahead and unhide it. And after a second. Okay, there's my tests, and I'm going to drag this up to right below assignments. So now what I've done is I've created structure in here, right? I've got my course content area where my students will know to get their lectures. I've got an assignments area where the students are going to find their assignments. And I've got the tests area where the students are going to find information about the tests. We can take this one step further, though, and actually create folders in any of these sort of side content areas. And to do that, we would hover over Build Content. And this gives us just a list of all the types of different content that we can create inside of our course. There's some really cool things like YouTube videos, web links, SlideShare, mashups, all this kind of cool stuff in here. But for right now, if I want to create a second folder in here, I'm just going to create a content folder. So I'm going to click Content Folder. And it's going to take me to what Blackboard calls a wizard. And a wizard is just step-by-step instructions that will walk you through the process of creating whatever it is you want to do. And it really does give you a lot of really good information about what it is you're trying to do. So in this case, we're just going to create a folder. I'm going to call it Lecture 1, because that's where I'm going to ultimately post my first lecture notes. Lecture 1. So that's in the name. I can come down here and I can actually change the color of the name if I want. I like blue, so I'm going to change it to blue. And then I have some options about how the students are going to see it. Do I want users to view this content? Yes or no? Yeah, I want my students to see this, but maybe if I was working ahead, I'd set this to no just for now. Or I can even go one step further and set date and time restrictions. So I want this to display after a certain date or display until a certain date. So all those options are available to you. I'm cool with the students seeing this as soon as they log in and click the course content folder. So I'm just going to click Submit. Okay, Submit. There we go, and there's my Lecture 1 folder, and it's in blue. And if I click on it, I'm taken to a new folder that I can post my Lecture 1 notes to. So again, what I'm doing here is I'm creating structure for my students to easily navigate the course, right? We've got an area for course content, and in it eventually we will have a folder for every lecture. And everything related to my first lecture is going to be in this folder. So it really gives the students a clear, easy path to follow when they're looking for your stuff. It makes it so they don't have to hunt around. Okay? So the next thing that I'm going to do is, now that I've got my folder in here, what I want to do is I want to actually post my lecture notes or a file in here for my students to be able to view. So I'm going to click on Build Content again, and this time what I want is a file. You may be a little tempted to click on Items, and that really won't necessarily lead you down the wrong path. But the difference between a file and an item is a file is something that you create inside, or an item, sorry, is something that you create inside Blackboard, whereas a file is more like an email attachment. So if you already have your document created in Adobe PDF or in Microsoft Word or PowerPoint or whatever, you definitely want to use with go with a file here. Okay? So just remember, if it's like an email attachment that you want the students to see, go with the file. So I'm going to click on File, and again, this is very similar to attaching an email. So I have to give it a name, Lecture 1 Slideshow. Okay, and then all I have to do is click Browse My Computer and select my file. I'm going to attach this picture. We'll just say that this is my lecture notes in a picture here. And again, I have these same sort of view options. Do I want the students to see it? How long do I want them to see it for? I'm fine with all that, so I'm just going to click Submit. And there it goes, and there's the icon that my students will click on to view the slideshow. And when they click it, they will have the opportunity to open or download my file. It's really as simple as that. So to go over one more time. We've created side content menu items by clicking the plus here and then content area. We've created folders inside those areas by clicking on build content and content folder. And then finally what we've covered is attaching files to those folders so that our students can actually get to our content. Thank you for watching.